Getting into the show now, a couple updates we're going to get into to start with. Talking about John Morant. I don't know. I'm assuming some of you guys watch basketball. John Morant, if you didn't watch the game last night, had what looked to be a very gruesome ankle injury. It was hard to tell on the camera. I didn't watch it on a big screen TV. I was watching it on my computer, and I watched the replays, and it looked like it was pretty nasty. Came down pretty bad on the defender, or on the shooter's foot, and went hobbling off the court really quick. And sad to see. I mean, especially with such a young, talented player, that kid is electric, and he's a fantastic ball player. And hopefully, we wish him a speedy recovery. Diagnosis came out today that he was diagnosed with a grade 2 ankle sprain in his left ankle, and it sounds like he's only going to miss about 3 to 5 weeks. So we're definitely happy to hear that. Could have been way worse, and like I said, I was expecting it to be extremely worse than that, based on the reaction that he had, based on how it looked. It looked horrible. So it's a major loss for the Grizzlies. Especially with through 2.5 games, he was averaging 26.3 points a game and 6.3 assists. The kid has just been he's been at Trey Young levels, as I was talking with a couple of the guys as we were getting the show set up tonight. Trey Young's just been an absolute dominant force for the Hawks, and it's hard to say that John Morant wasn't in his class to start the season. Now, granted, the Hawks started off 0-3, and the Grizz started off 0-2 before Morant got hurt. But I mean, when you look at it this way, John Morant is averaging 26.3 points a game, and that's factoring in the fact that he only scored 7 points last night prior to his exit in the second quarter. So if he would have scored, his 20 plus points, you're talking a 30-point average over 3 games. The kid has just been dominant. So his stats are bogged down just for the fact that he only played a quarter and a half last night. So anyway, obviously major loss for the Grizzlies, especially with Jaren Jackson Jr. or Trip J out until at least late January, from what I understand. If you haven't been following that injury, he had kind of a off-season injury, I guess you'd call it. It was late, I guess. Well, it was late in the bubble, but sounds like he's going to be out for a few more weeks at least. End of January is what it sounds like. End of January is a good look at it. I mean, they're saying end of January would be the earliest, so most likely we're talking February. At least John Morant will be back by the end of January, early February as well. So maybe they get John Morant and JJJ back at the same time. It remains to be seen, but hope that he has a speedy recovery, and looking forward to having him back in the NBA. Moving over to the NFL, a lot of news today with the NFL. One of the big ones being Dwayne Haskins being cut by the Washington football team after not even a full 2 years. 1 week away from being a full 2 years with the team. He was the number 15 overall pick in 2019 out of Ohio State, and he, let's just say, had a controversial year in 2020. He was named the captain to start the season, and the captain is awarded by the players. I mean, that's not something the coach decides. That's the players. That's his supporting cast named him the captain to start the season. So that's what boggled my mind behind it. When Rivera benched him after 4 games, what happened to cause this? And now that we've seen the last couple of weeks transpire, it makes me believe that this was something Rivera saw back in the beginning of the season. When I'm first to admit I was wrong. I thought Rivera was wrong to bench him to start with, because he wasn't playing horrible. He wasn't playing fantastic, but he wasn't losing them games in the first 4 games. I mean, he went 1-3 to start the season this year. Technically, one. Well, yeah, it was 1-3 because he got pulled in the third game. But now with what I'm hearing and some of the reports, it makes more sense. There was reports that apparently on his draft night, he apparently was trying to charge people entry for his draft party. So just kind of a bizarre situation. I didn't really know that much about the behind the scenes with him, but it sounds like the kid was having kind of some priority issues in terms of, hey, I just became a multimillionaire. I'm going to go out and party. I'm going to go out and have fun. I'm not going to listen to the rules. And I was listening today, and somebody had... I was listening to Pat McAfee's show this morning, and a caller had said that there's a video of Thomas Davis, sorry, who was linebacker for the for the Washington football team, and they were running some drills, and apparently Davis saw Haskins looking down the receiver the entire time, just telegraphing it. And Davis, a 15-year NFL vet, sees his quarterback do this, and hey, Haskins, just a heads up, you're staring down the receiver. We knew exactly where you were going with that. And apparently his response was, no, I wasn't. And go back and watch. And Thomas said, no, seriously, go back and look at the tape. And Haskins said, go look at the tape yourself. You'll see I wasn't. And it's like, when you're a young buck in the NFL and a veteran leader like that is trying to help you get better, and you're giving him the kickback like that, that's not a good sign. Now, apparently there's video evidence to this as well, so I'd be curious. I'm going to do some research on that throughout the next week, and I kind of want to take a look in this, but it doesn't sound like it was a very good situation for Dwayne Haskins in Washington, and they wanted to move on, part ways with him as soon as they could. He ended up taking over the team again after week 14 when Alex Smith got hurt, and hopefully Alex Smith recovers and can make a full recovery, because that's the real feel-good story of the 2020 season. Dwayne Haskins' stats over his almost two seasons in Washington, he played in 16 games, started 13 of them, 267 completions out of 444 attempts, 60.1 percentage completion, not horrible. 12 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and he was sacked 49 times, and I think his QBR was somewhere around 74. So he wasn't exactly lighting the scoreboards up. He wasn't costing them games in the first four this season. He just wasn't winning them games either, and that's, I think, what Ron Rivera was looking for, was a quarterback who could go out and win it with his arm, and Haskins wasn't really doing that. So now the big question becomes, does he get a shot elsewhere to redeem himself? He put out a tweet that he apologized and was thankful for his time in Washington, and that he's looking at improving and becoming a better man and a better football player. Hopefully he learns from this. I really hate to see a 24-year-old, 25-year-old, whatever he is, quarterback, 23 actually I think he is, get washed from the NFL because of his attitude this early in his career. So I don't think he's going to get a starting gig somewhere right now, but I think I have a feeling that there's going to be a team that takes a flyer on him, at least maybe learn under a veteran quarterback. Give him a shot and see where he ends up. Zeus, you posted the link. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Zeus. Zeus has the link to that video with Thomas Davis. I appreciate that. Thanks for posting that.